"Sweetheart, meet the new owner of your apartment." Mom's voice hit me like a thunderclap. Before I could process the words, she barged in with my sister's suitcases. My sister, Grace, walked in right behind her, wearing sunglasses indoors and holding a smoothie like she was entering a spa, not my home. "I'm taking your bedroom," she said casually, tossing her bag on the couch. "Mom says you can sleep in the guest room until I redecorate." I blinked. What? Mom rolled her eyes. "Grace needs space, and you don't use this apartment properly. You just live here." "Hi everyone, my name is Natalie Rhodes, I'm 26, and this was the moment my family decided to evict me from the home I bought with my own savings." Grace strutted toward my bedroom, inspecting it like a real estate agent. "This color palette is so depressing. I'll have it repainted." I stood frozen. My name was on the lease. My furniture. My bills. And yet, somehow, they acted like I was a guest in my own life. Then Mom tossed my jacket in my face. "Hurry up and clear your things before the movers come." And that's when I smiled, a quiet, calm, deliberate smile. "All right," I said softly. "If that's what you want." Grace laughed. "Good girl." But she didn't notice I was already opening my phone and recording everything. Grace kept ordering the movers around like she'd signed the deed herself. "Put my vanity in the master bedroom," she said. "Oh, and toss that ugly bookshelf out." "That's my bookshelf," I said quietly. She didn't even look at me. Not anymore. My phone, still recording from the kitchen counter, caught everything, every insult, every command, every smug laugh. I kept my tone light, casual, almost detached. Because the calmer I was, the more reckless they became. Mom started going through my drawers. "You really should have told us you were saving all this money. It's wasteful. Grace will use it better." "Mom," I asked softly, "are you serious right now?" She gave me that patronizing smile she reserved for when she thought I was being dramatic. "Sweetheart, family shares everything. Don't be so selfish." Family. The word burned. When they finally left, I locked the door and replayed the recording, the one that captured my mother admitting she'd transferred ownership and Grace demanding I vacate my own room. Every word, clear as glass. That night, I emailed the file, along with my lease, receipts, and bank statements, to my lawyer friend, Diana. Her reply came within minutes. "Nat, this is gold. Don't confront them. Just wait. I'll handle the paperwork." I leaned back, smiling at the irony. They thought I was packing to leave. I was preparing to evict them. 2 days later, the movers returned. But this time, they weren't there for me. When I opened the door, they handed me a stack of official envelopes. Diana had worked fast. "Court notices," the lead mover said. "We were told to deliver these to Ms. Grace and Mrs. Rhodes." Perfect timing. Mom and Grace showed up an hour later, waltzing in like royalty who'd come to check on their castle. Grace looked around and frowned. "Why haven't you moved out yet?" I held up the envelopes. "Because I'm not going anywhere." Mom scoffed. "What's this nonsense now?" "Legal documents," I said. "Filed this morning. The lease, the property tax record, and the evidence of your attempted eviction, all submitted." Grace snatched one from my hand and skimmed it. Her smirk vanished. You recorded us?" "Yes," I said evenly. "While you ordered me to throw my life into boxes." Mom's tone cracked. "You're turning against your own family?" "No," I replied, calm and steady. "You turned against me the moment you decided my success was yours to rearrange." Just then, my lawyer Diana called on speaker. "Natalie, tell them the court has granted a temporary restraining order. No one enters your apartment without consent." Grace's face went white. Mom stammered something about misunderstanding, but I just stood there, still smiling, the same quiet smile they'd ignored 2 days ago. Now it was their turn to pack. That night, the silence in the apartment felt almost sacred. For the first time in months, my things were mine again, untouched, unmoved, unclaimed. But peace didn't last long. At 10:47 p.m., the building's security intercom buzzed. "Miss Rhodes, your mother's here." She says she left her purse.
Of course she did.
Let her up, I said, recording before she even stepped through the door. Mom walked in, feigning humility. Sweetheart, can we talk? I gestured to the couch. We're already talking. Her eyes darted around, searching for sympathy. You embarrassed us with that lawyer stunt. The neighbors are gossiping. Grace is devastated. Grace, I repeated. You mean the woman who tried to steal my room, my car, and my dignity? She sighed dramatically. You always twist things. We were helping you. By taking my apartment? I cut in. By telling people you gave it to me? Her lips parted. We didn't say. Oh, you did. I turned my phone screen toward her, playing back the recording where she'd bragged to Grace. Once Natalie's gone, we'll have full control of this place. Her face drained of color. Mom, I said quietly, you raised me to believe in family, but you forgot to teach yourself what that means. The doorbell rang again. It was Diana, holding another envelope. This one, she said, isn't from court. It's from the landlord. Mom froze. He's terminating their sublease, Diana added. Effective immediately. The next morning, the hallway outside my apartment was chaos. Mom pacing, Grace on her phone trying to call someone important. Diana stood beside me, arms folded, completely unbothered. Grace snapped, You can't just kick us out, Natalie. We're family. I tilted my head. You should have read the paperwork before trying to steal my apartment. Diana stepped forward, her tone polite but razor-sharp. For the record, this property is legally leased to Miss Natalie Rhodes, fully paid in advance for 2 years. Any unauthorized occupants or attempts to transfer possession without her written consent violate Section 12B of her tenancy agreement. Mom blinked. Section what? Grace frowned. Mom, did you even read the lease before bringing my stuff here? She said she owned it. Grace hissed. Diana smiled. Ownership doesn't come from assumption, Ms. Rhodes. It comes from documents. And those all have Natalie's name on them. Grace's voice broke. You're doing this to humiliate us. I met her eyes, calm and steady.
No.
I'm doing this to protect myself from people who forgot what love looks like when money's involved. The movers, the same ones they'd hired days ago, appeared at the door again, this time carrying their boxes out. Mom muttered something about betrayal as she followed them down the hall. Diana turned to me. You handled that perfectly. I exhaled slowly. No, I said, glancing at the empty doorway. That was just the beginning. A week passed before I heard from them again. Grace texted first. Mom wants to talk. We should all have dinner. No lawyers. It sounded innocent, but with my family nothing ever was. I agreed. Calmly. Because sometimes letting people speak is the best way to expose what they really mean. When I arrived at the restaurant, Mom was already waiting, her posture perfect, her tone rehearsed. Sweetheart, she began, we just want to start fresh. Families shouldn't fight over something as small as an apartment. Small? I repeated. You tried to hand my life to someone else. Grace pouted, stirring her drink. You're overreacting. Grandpa always said family property belongs to everyone. I smiled faintly. He also said honesty comes before inheritance. That shut her up. Mom leaned in, voice soft but sharp. You made us look terrible, Natalie. The landlord, the neighbors, everyone thinks we're greedy. You need to fix that. By doing what? I asked. Posting something nice online, she said. Say you misunderstood. Say we were helping you. I laughed quietly. You're asking me to lie again. Her eyes hardened. You owe us that much. I stood, placing my phone on the table, the screen still recording.
No, Mom.
What I owe you is a mirror, so you can finally see who you've become. Their faces fell. I picked up my bag and walked away, calm and unhurried. The next morning, I woke to 83 missed messages. Half from Grace, half from Mom. Apparently, my calm dinner exit had gone viral. I hadn't posted anything, not a word, but the restaurant CCTV had captured everything. Their attempt to guilt me, the recorded confession, and my final line, what I owe you is a mirror. Someone on staff uploaded it anonymously with a caption. When the quiet daughter finally speaks. Within hours, it was everywhere. People flooded my DMs with messages, strangers sharing stories of betrayal, favoritism, and stolen peace. Grace called crying. Natalie, please take it down. People are calling us thieves. You made your own statement, I said softly. The world just listened this time. Mom tried next, her tone dripping with false calm. Sweetheart, you're ruining our reputation. I looked around my spotless apartment, my name shining on the lease framed by the door.
No, Mom, I said.
I'm protecting mine. When I hung up, I noticed something strange. A message from Grandpa. Proud of you, kiddo. About time someone in this family learned the value of peace over property. That text meant more than anything trending online. Because for once, the family that tried to silence me had been exposed by their own echo. And all I'd done was tell the truth, quietly. 3 months passed. The noise faded. The viral post, the petty texts, the fake apologies. All that remained was quiet. Beautiful, earned quiet. Grace moved in with a friend across town. Mom, still clinging to image, started attending family healing seminars and posting inspirational quotes she didn't understand. I didn't reply to her messages anymore, not out of hate, but peace. The landlord renewed my lease early. You're one of the few tenants who respect what they have, he said. I smiled. That line hit deeper than he knew. At night, I'd sit by the window, the same one where I once stood crying as they threw my jacket in my face. Now it framed a different view, one of stillness, of control, of self-worth. One afternoon, a delivery arrived. No sender listed. Inside the box was a small brass key and a note written in shaky handwriting. To the only one who remembered integrity. The lake house is yours now, Grandpa. Tears blurred my vision. It wasn't about the property, it was about what it meant. Someone saw me, truly saw me, without conditions. That night, I drove to the lake house. The wind was gentle, the air smelled of pine and salt, and for the first time in years, I whispered to myself, no one can evict peace. And that, I realized, was the most priceless home of all.